Κύριος Θεοτόκον, σε ομολογούμεν, η δια σου σεσωσμένη παρθένε αγγή, συνασωμόν τις μορίες σε μεγαλύνοντες.
Κύριε Θεότο και σώσον ημάς ροήμου των δακρύων, μη αποποιήσεις, μη των παντός εκπροσώπου των δακρύων, αφηρικότα παρθένε Χριστόν Κύρισασαν.
Most Holy Mother of God, save us. With gladness fill my heart, Most Holy Virgin Lady, for you are she who received the abundant joy. Take the grief of my sinfulness and make it disappear.
Κύριε Θεότο και σώσον ημάς κλινήν και προστασία των σύγκροσφερκόντων και των παρθένε και τείχος ακράδοντων, καταφυγείτε και σκέπτη και αγαλίαμα. Glory to the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, with grace. All pure effulgence, brightness of virgin, equine the Orthodox manner declared it to be, the Theotokos who drives up the gloom of ignorance, και νίκαια οίκες τους αιώνας των αιώνων, αμήν, κακός έως ετόπων, ότι ασθενείας ταπεινωθέντα παρθένε θεράπευσον, εξ αρρωστίας εις δρόσιν μετασκευάζουσα.
Αξίον εστίνος αληθώς, μακαρίζησε την Θεοτόκον, την αημακάριστον και παραμόμητον, και μητέρα του Θεού ημών, την τιμιωτέρα των κερουβίμ, και ενδοξωτέρα ασυγκρίτως των σεραφείμ, την αδιαφόρος Θεολόγων τεκούσαν, την όντως Θεοτόκον σε μεγαλύνομαι.
Είναι υψηλότερα των ουρανών και καθαρότερα, λομπιδόνων ηλιακών, ήλικροσαμένη ημάς εκ της καθάρας, την δέσποινα του κόσμου ύμνης τιμήσομεν.
Από τον πολλών του αμαρτιών, ασθενή το σώμα, ασθενή μου και η ψυχή, προσέλια τα φεύγω, την και χαριτωμένη, ελπίσα πεπισμένων, σύ μη βοήθησον.
Δέσποινα και μύτη του λιχρωτού, εξεφοραγήσεις αναξίων των ηγετών, ή να με συντέψεις προς τον εξουτεκθέντα, ο δέσποινα του κόσμου εν καινού μεσήτρια.
Now with zeal we chant this ode to you, you the all-praised Lady, Theotokos, we hymn with joy, with the saints most holy, together with the Baptist, beseech of Theotokos for God's mercy on high.
Τα χείλη των ασεβών, των μη προσκυνούντων, την εικόνα σου την ψευδήν, την ιστορηθήσαν υπό του Αποστόλου, Λουκά ιερωτά του Θεήν οδηγήτριαν.
Πάσε των αγγέλων εστρατιέ, πρόδρομε Κυρίου Αποστόλων οι δωδεκάς, οι Άγιοι πάντες μετά της Θεοτόκου, ποιήσατε πρεσβεία.
Εις το σωθήνε ημάς. Άγιος ο Θεός, Άγιος Κύριος, Άγιος Ανσουλέσουν μας, Άγιος Θεός, Άγιος Κύριος, Άγιος Ανσουλέσουν μας, Άγιος ο Θεός, Άγιος Κύριος, Άγιος Ανσουλέσουν μας. Δόξα Πατρί και Υιό και Αγίου Πνεύματι και Αγίου στους αιώνας των αιώνων. Αμήν. Παναγία Τριά, συλλέσουν μας, Κύριε, τις αμαρτίες ημών, τέφτας χώρες, τις ανομίας μην. Άγιε της πληθείας, της ασθενείας ημών, εμέ και θερματός, Κύριε Λέησον, Κύριε Λέησον, Κύριε Λέησον. Δόξα Πατρί και Υιό και Αγίου Πνεύματι και στους αιώνας των αιώνων. Αμήν. Πάτερ ημών ο εν της ουρανής, αγιαστήτω το όνομά σου, ενθέπτε η βασιλεία σου, γεννηθήτω το θέλημά σου, ως εν ουρανό και επί της γης, των άρθων ημών την επιούσιον δώσει μην σήμερον, και άφησε μην τα φλήματα ημών, ως και εμείς αφήνουμε τις οφειλέστες ημών, και εμείς εν εξής ημάς τους πειρασμών, αλλά ρίξε ημάς από του πονηρού.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and always, and unto ages of ages.
Amen. Eleison imás, Kyrie, eleison imás, πάσης παραπολογίας απορούντες, ταύτης εν εκκλησία nos εσπότη αμαρτωλή προσφέρομεν ελέησον ημάς. Δόξου Πατρί και Υιό και Αγίου Πνεύματι, Kyrie ελέησον ημάς επισύγκαρ πεπίθαμεν, μη οργήσεις ημίν σφόδρα μετερνιστής των ανομίων ημών, να με διήγραψαν και νήνος έσπαχνος και λύτρωσε ημάς εκ των εχθρών ημών, σίγαρη Θεός ημών και εμείς λαός σου, πάντες το όνομά σου, έργα χειρών σου και επικεκλήμεθα.
Νικαία νικαίς τους αιώνας των αιώνων, αμήν. Της εσπαγνίας την πύλην άνοιξον ημίν ευλογημένη Θεοτόκε. Ελπίζοντες εις έμοιας στοχίσομεν, Χριστί ευεδίας σου των περιστάσεων, σίγαρη σωτηρίας του γένους των χριστιανών. Ελέησον ημάς ο Θεός, και το μέγα ελαιός σου το μεθά σου επάκουσον και ελέησον.
Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον.
Εν ιδεόμεθα υπέρ του Επισκόπου ημών Αλεξίου και υπέρ της βοηθήνε αυτών και πάσης εν Χριστώ ημών αδελφότητος.
Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον.
Again we pray for mercy, life, peace, health, salvation, visitation, forgiveness, and remission of the sins of the servants of God, all pious Orthodox Christians, those who reside and visit this city, the members, council members, contributors, and benefactors of this holy church.
Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy.
Εντυνεύεται και υπέρ των δούλων του Θεού, Βασιλείου Παναγιώτας, Ελένης Κωνσταντίνου Σταυρούλας, Άννα Μαρίας, Βασιλικής, Δέσποινας Σιμών Γιώργου, Αργύρο και Τέκνα Στέφανος, Βυσάντης και Τέκνα Ανδρέας, Φιλίτσας και Τέκνας, Βασιλικής και Τέκνα Κυριάκος, Μισελ και Τέκνα Γεωργίου, Ευαγγελία Ελένης, Αντωνίου, Ιωάννης, Κατερίνα και Τέκνα, Αναστασία Σωτήριος, Καλλιόπης Σωτήριος, Βικτόριας, Ανδρέας και Τέκνα Μαρίας, Πινελόπης, Γιάννης Μαρίας και Τέκνα, George Maro, Ελένη Παναγιώτης, Angel, Nico, Anna, Stephen, Andrew, Gabriel, Marianne, Sedal, Marianne, Melaki, Ferhiet, Marianne, Belit, Marianne, Echet, Enkoit, Doxa, Nikki, Tom, Evangelist and family, for health and healing of Sally, Rodney, Dora, Nick, Christopher, Mercy, Betty, Gerald, Delano, Pamela, Penny, Rodney, Sam, Helen, Manoli, Theodora, Emmanuel, Lisa, Sotiris, Stacy, Nicholas, Zio, Kalotina, Stephanos, Nicholas, Michael, Emmanuel, Panorea, Dimitri, Nancy, Sherry, Nicole, Parabati, Tony, Vincent, Theron, Carolyn, Phil, Jesse Maria, Olga, and Stavrula.
Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy.
Εντεδρεύομεθα υπέρ του διαφυλακτήνε την Αγία Εκκλησία και την πόλη ταύτη, και πάσαν πόλη και χώρα απολυγού λιγού σεισμού, καταποντισμού πυρός μαχαίρας επιδρομής αλλοφύλων, εμβολίου πλέον και αφιλίου θανάτου, υπέρ των Κύριων ελεύθερων και βιάλακτων γενέστε, όν αγαθών και φιλάνθρωπων Θεών ημών, που αποσβέψε και διασκεδάσε πάση και γη και νόσων, και καθημών κινουμένων, και ρίσαστε ημάς, εκ της επικειμένης δικαίας αυτού απελής, και ελεήσε ημάς.
Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον.
Εδραιόμεθα υπέρ του εισακούσε Κύριου των Θεών φωνής της δεήσεως ημών των μαρτωλών, και ελεήσε ημάς.
Κυρία ελέησον, Κυρία ελέησον.
Hear us, O God, our Savior, the hope of all the ends of the earth, and those who are far off upon the sea. Show compassion upon us, O Master, upon our many sins, and have mercy upon us. Ελεήμον δάρ και φιλάνθρωπος Θεός υπάρχεις, εσύ την δόξα να παίρνουμε, του Πατρί και το Υιό και το Άγιο Πνεύμα τιμήν και αή, και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων.
Αμήν.
Δόξα Συ ο Θεός Χριστόν, δόξα Συ Χριστός, ο αληθινός Θεός ημών, τες πρεσβείες Παναχράντου και Παναμόμου και Αγίας και του Μητρός, την άμ, των Αγίων εδόξων των Δίχων Παρτήρων, των Αποστόλων, των Αγίων και Δικαίων, των Προεκυμπιάνης και πάντων των Αγίων, ελέησε Χριστός ημάς ο Θεός και φιλάνθρωπος και λέημον Θεός. Χριστίον this time. Απόστολοι επεράτω, συνάντριστέντες εν τάδε, et simanido polio, qui desate muto soma, che si I really appreciate you coming. Now, I've been here all day, so it was easy for me to stay. And Panagoti had to come all the way from Boynton Beach, very difficult in the rain. I called my wife, and she said it was Cataclysmos up there. So, but it was coming down this way, she said, so it was just getting worse and worse. So I applaud you for coming. Michael was the first one here, knocking on the door. I didn't know who it was. Scared. But you made it, so please drive carefully going home. So let me share something with you. I can't go without sharing something. And in that I want to talk to you a little bit about the icon of the Kimisis. There's a lot of things in there, in the icon of the Kimisis. One in particular that I like to find the things that you don't know. So if I find those, I know that it excites you because it's something new for you. And that is, the icon of the Kimisis has theology in it, and it has history in it at the same time. For example, one of the things, a theological piece in the icon of the Kimisis, is that although the Panagia is on a stretcher with flowers, and she has fallen asleep, she's died, or the word that we use is transfigured, she has been transfigured, or translated. Talk about that on the day of the Kimisis. So she's been translated to another dimension, to another life. Her soul, as a little girl, is in the arms of Jesus. I don't know if the icon is not there, so you can't see it. But when we bring it out, we'll be able to see that she's there, the disciples are all around her, including some other people around her who lived much after her. But the church theologically grabs those individuals from history later on and puts them in the icon of the Panagia. So there's a whole group of people around her. As I said, her body is there on something like a epitaphios, a kuvuklion, really. So she's on a kuvuklion, people are around her, and up high, sometimes just behind everybody, is Jesus, and he's holding the Panagia like a little girl in his arms. So very interesting theology there, because her soul, in one of the Tropari that we sing during the Parakasa service, is to receive her soul, her spirit, to receive her spirit. May God receive her spirit. So God is receiving her spirit. But now the Panagia who used to hold him as a little boy, as an infant, now it's Jesus who holds her as an infant. So it's an interesting theological statement there, that before Panagia, he existed. So although he historically is younger than the Panagia, she's older, it's his mother, theologically, she's younger because he's much older. He's without time. So it's an interesting theological concept that's there. But what I want to talk to you about is something about history in the icon, and that has something to do with what happened during the procession. So there was a procession through the streets with the Panagia on a, as I said, kuvuklion. And in some churches in Greece, in some villages, maybe you have seen this, there's actually a kuvuklion, just like the kuvuklion that we have on Holy Friday, and they put the icon of the Virgin in there, and they take it outside the church, just like Holy Friday. Have you ever seen that? As a matter of fact, they do it on Long Island, out in the Hamptons, at the Kimisis Theotoko Church out there. Father Carlutzis, who is the priest there, a friend of mine, he actually has a kuvuklion separate from that kuvuklion, and they do that. They go outside with flowers, they go out all the way around the church, just like Holy Friday, but it's for the Panagia instead. And this is very, very significant because it actually happened. An icon. They have an icon of the Panagia. Yeah. So, no, good question. That's what they have, a lot of flowers, they take it around, and historically, that's what happened, is that when she died, she was going to be buried in the Garden of Gethsemane. So the funeral procession had to go through Jerusalem. So as they were going through, of course it took a long time, the Jews who were upset that people were becoming Christians went and complained. And one of the head Jewish rabbis, his name was Annunciation, found out about it, and he said, I am going to go, and as they're coming through the city, I'm going to knock the Kuvuklion over, and the body of the Panagia is going to fall. You know the story? So as it's going through Jerusalem, Anthonius goes to knock over the Kuvuklion, and as he touches the Kuvuklion, an angel appears and cuts off his hands. So on the icon, especially the old icons, if you see some that are pictures or copies of very old, ancient icons, you see someone standing by the procession, and he doesn't have hands. He's just cut off. Sometimes you see the hands on top of the Kuvuklion, and he's like this. Well, according to the tradition, according to the story, that when that happened, he realized what he did. And he prayed to the Theotokos and said, please forgive me for what I have done. I will serve you the rest of my life. And she puts his hands miraculously come back on his hands, but a mark was left where they were cut off. So always throughout the rest of his life, he would always look at his hands and know that he had touched irreverently the body of the Panagia. Now, why is that important? This is very, very important if we know the Bible. I'll go back to the Bible again. Because something similar happened with the Ark of the Covenant. Remember I told you, I think around Christmas time, during the Campus Cosinos, I said that the Panagia is referred to in the salutations in the Keretismi as the Kivoto, the Ark. The Kivoto is the technical term for the Ark of the Covenant, which was kept in the Holy of Holies by the Jews. They kept it back there, behind the screen. And in there they had the rod of Aaron, they had a bottle, a jar of manna that God had sent them from the heavens, and the Ten Commandments, those three things. So when the temple was destroyed, the ark was lost. We don't know where it is. No one knows where it is. And the Panagia, however, according to the church, is the new ark, the new Kivoto, because within her was Jesus, and Jesus is the manna, the bread. He is the Word of God, and he blossoms with the resurrection from the cross. So those three things that were in the Ark of the Covenant were in her. So she is the new Kivoto, the new Ark of the Covenant, and that's why we put her up there. That's why she's the Platidera back there, because she represents the Ark of the Old Testament, and that's why she sits on the Ark back there. You see her. So the theology of that comes together at this point. Why? Because that ark was lost once before. It was taken by not the Babylonians, the Philistines. The Philistines came and they took the ark because they thought it was something with power. They stole the ark and they put it in a temple, their own temple. And the temple there was named after Dagon, D-A-G-O-N, or he dragon, Dagon. And he was a pagan god. And they brought the ark and they put it in front of the Agama, the statue of Dagon. The next day, according to the Assyrians, the next day, the statue of Dagon had fallen. So they said, whoa, who knocked it over? Somebody knocked it over. And they put it back up again. The next night they go back the next day, and this time it falls down, and the hands have been smashed, and the head has fallen off. And they said, later on, they realized that the God of the Jews will not kneel to the God of Dagon. Dagon will kneel to the God of the Jews. So they got so scared, the Assyrians, that they gave the ark back to the Jews. They said, take it away. Because bad things were happening in the empire, as well as Dagon had fallen. So the Jews went to get the ark. So they didn't know how. This was King David. King David went to God, and God said, you will take the priests, and the priests will carry the ark, just like the Kuvuglion. You will carry the ark, and you will bring it back to Jerusalem. So as they were bringing it back to Jerusalem, something happened, and the ark almost fell. And one individual who was not a priest touched it. And when he touched it, his hands were cut off, and he died on the spot. In other words, the church is saying that you cannot touch God irreverently. You have to have faith. You have to have love. You have to have a certain holiness to touch God. If you touch God irreverently, trying to knock him over or say that I am king and he is not, I'm going to do whatever I want, you lose your hands. If not physically, you lose your hands spiritually. So that comes together in the story of the Panagia. As the Panagia is the ark, and they're taking her through the city, and here's this Jewish rabbi who knows the Bible really well. He goes to touch, and his hands get cut off. Immediately he realizes, she is the ark. So in the icon of the Ecclesiastes, all of this theology is there. But if you don't know the history, if you don't know the Bible, if you don't know what is behind it, you'll miss it, and it'll just pass you by. So that's why I like to stop sometimes and share some things with you. There's not a lot of you here this evening, at least physically, a lot of you are not here, but there are others that are here too tonight, and I'm sure that whoever hears these words are pleased that we are talking about the Panagia as the ark of God. And we have to be careful how we touch her, how we approach her, and how we reverence her. With Dios and Jesus, may God always bless us and forgive us and give us the grace to be able to touch him and his mother with faith and love.
Ninti quanim lito διήτριαν, ως των αγγέλων εστρατεία, πρόδρομε Κυρίου, Αποστόλων ηθοδεκάς, οι Άγιοι πάντες μετά της Θεοτόκου, ήσατε πρεσβείαν εις το σωθήνε ημάς.
Tiene que ser cámara ya o que sea con. Uy. Facciamo una volta con 10 minuti di Pamela, Pamela.
Woman, you have a what?